There have been big new developments in the Machete saga that's become a big national news story since we began pointing out that this film was promoting race war. So I'm going to recap what has unfolded, what's in the film, what the script covers, and then I'm going to get into the new developments that are very important, so stay with us. The private central banks are imploding the world economy by design. We have their internal IMF, World Bank documents. We've been talking about this program for over a decade. They're now announcing that only a world government run by private central banks can save us from the derivatives crisis that they created. North Korea, that was publicly armed by Donald Rumsfeld, the head of the Swiss company ABB, back in the mid-1990s with Bill Clinton's authorization, transferred nuclear weapons technology to North Korea, which they're now using to menace the South. Why would our government allow this? Well, it creates a pretext for U.S. forces to stay in the region and to control Japan and South Korea and project power into China. It was back on Cinco de Mayo a few weeks ago that I was sent the trailer for Machete, and it had a political message to Arizona. And so I didn't know what to think of it. I was going to wait until the film came out, but it looked like it was promoting race war from the trailer. Then I got contacted by members of Rodriguez's crew who are Hispanic, and they said, we believe this is going to create racial division, and it's going to cause a backlash on Hispanics. And I said, well, I've seen the trailer. Is that what the film's about? And they said, yes, it's even worse. Then I made a video saying this film is basically about race war, and there was this political spin out there that this isn't even a real movie, even though it's on IMDb. It's a fake trailer, and it's not coming out. Well, then the national news reported, no, it is a real movie coming out September 3rd. Then we got the actual script, and what's in the trailer is matched in the script. It is basically a race war film where if we don't have a completely open border and a North American Union, that you're basically a racist devil. Then the issue of the state of Texas funding came into this, and that indeed it is getting state of Texas tax exemption. The head of the Texas Film Commission told the San Antonio Express News a year ago that this film Machete is the model of the Texas Film Commission, and Rodriguez was interviewed at the event with Rick Perry and said we couldn't have been in Texas for Machete if the governor hadn't changed the way the money is appropriated. Thank you for funding Machete.
Thank you, bill sponsors, Representative Duke, Senator Deuel, and Governor Perry for his continued support of the film industry in Texas. Thanks to this bill, I don't have to go shoot out of the state now. We are confident that the total funding of $60 million will happen. 20 is already in place. The governor's requested another 40.
So, number one, it's a real movie. Number two, it's getting government tax incentives and funding. Okay, let's get that straight. Now, here's the new information why we're making this video. Last week, Robert Rodriguez gave an interview to Ain't It Cool News, Mr. Knowles, based here in Austin, Texas. And in it, he first comes out and Knowles says, yeah, a madman talk show host, basically caused all this. Tell us what's happening, Mr. Rodriguez, famous director. And Rodriguez says, oh, it was Cinco de Mayo. I may have had too much tequila. Like he just accidentally, had his star say Message to Arizona, shot cinematically, and just accidentally put all this together. And, the whole trailer's fake with Robert De Niro and Lindsay Lohan. And he implies that for about a page. So this is spin. But then later he says, I will admit that there were a few scenes that became so real in the past months because of what's going on that they'll be best left as a fascinating case study for the DVD extras. This will be my best DVD special features to date. And then he goes on to say, one thing the fake Arizona trailer does prove is what magic you can do in the edit room. Well, Mr. Rodriguez, again, you're spinning this, and you're trying to save face. Number one, it's a real movie. Number two, I have your script, which is far worse than the trailer. I mean, it has whites burning down Catholic churches, crucifying Catholic priests. Machete is prayed to murder the gringos. The gringos are trying to kill Hispanic children. I mean, this is off the chart. Okay, so it's a big story, national attention. In hindsight, Robert Rodriguez probably ought to thank me for giving this film so much hype by covering it. It's been in literally hundreds of newspapers. But I was upset and threatened by it because I realized that in the name of the leftist agenda, the media is always creating racial division. Oh, you don't want government health care. You must be a racist. You're a libertarian. You must be a racist. And it's just used as a weapon. And so seeing the trailer and then reading the script, it was just horrific. I mean, there's no way a white director would get away with making a film about some other, group of humans other than white people and putting them in this type of light. So I guess in a way I am sick of being demonized all day when I've always had this open, loving feeling towards everybody. But I guess that's how racism works. People attack you, and so then you start attacking them back. By the way, I had read the script and thought this is like Inglourious Bastards, where the Germans are all the devils, they're the bad guys, the Nazis are the bad guys, and you can make a case for that. And that's another country, and 65 years ago. But I thought this is like Inglourious Bastards, but the American people and white people are the new Nazis. And he says that in the interview. He says this film, the only way to describe it is like Inglourious Bastards. Well, that's what I got upset by. In fact, I talked about it in the office. I should have put it in the videos we put out, the video releases, that this is like Inglourious Bastards, where every gringo is like a German SS officer putting Jews in ovens. But instead they're putting little Hispanic kids in ovens and Catholic priests in ovens. I mean, this is provocative stuff that we were dealing with here. But here's the bottom line. Rodriguez has now admitted that this was very incendiary, and when he politically injected Arizona into it and said this is a political message, that this had a very high probability of actually causing violence. So he's now admitted that I had a serious case for concern, and I appreciate that, okay? Look, I don't like fighting with people in the Austin film community. I don't like burning bridges. I don't like, getting involved in anybody's production. I was just seriously concerned, and so was your crew. And so I think Rodriguez has done the right thing, unless he's playing possum. Unless he says he's toned the film down and he still releases it the way it is in the script, then I'm going to have a serious problem, and I'm going to have to criticize it. I fully support his right to put this film out. And I hope that he does put it out the way he sees fit. I just hope that I've gotten him to think twice. And this has happened to me before when I've been, doing something or covering something or making a film, and people around me have gone, Alex, this might not come off right. So I hope that I help Mr. Rodriguez, because I certainly need help in my life. And I hope he's not playing possum on this. I hope the scenes that really do invoke race war that are in this script have been cut out of the film. But I want to make this clear at the end. This is the most important point. As I had a few days to think about this national news story that this has become, I don't want to have Texas Film Commission funding taken from the film Machete. I do not want him to have his funding stripped. And why is that? Because I don't want the government involved in productions to begin with. I think the law in Texas should be changed to where anybody producing a film in Texas is tax exempt. That way the government doesn't have control over what's produced or what's created. They shouldn't be in the business of film and TV. The federal government's already running, most of the newscasts that are out there, many of the TV shows. That's now admitted with what they call behavior placement. I always called it propaganda placement. And so my anger is that the state is even involved in films to begin with. It shouldn't be. But I don't want Rodriguez having any of his money kept back from him, because really the state isn't funding it. That's the illusion. They say they're funding it. Really all they're doing is saying, we'll give you some of your tax money back if you do as we say and if you go along with our agenda. I think under the First Amendment, Mr. Rodriguez can make any film he wants. He can make a film where white people have secret tails and, horns and worship Satan. He can make a film where white people are little angels that flap around and play patty cake all day. Look, I don't care. Make whatever film you want. I have my free speech to criticize it. I have my free speech to try to warn you if you weren't conscious of what your film may do, so you understand the possible repercussions. And I just want to say again, I hope it doesn't have its tax incentives taken away. Because I've had time to think about it now, and I realize that my problem is that the state is even able to deny funding or tax incentives. If you're going to have a state incentive, it should be for everybody. It shouldn't be discriminatory. So look, that's what I have to say about it. Hopefully this is my last piece on Machete, but I am going to go see it come September 3rd, and we'll see what Mr. Rodriguez has done with his film. But whatever he does, I hope he goes with his heart and puts out what he thinks is the best film. But I have my right under the First Amendment to be critical of the script I saw and the trailer I saw, and to point out that I think it's dangerous. We all have our First Amendment, unless Rick Perry withholds the funding.